we're going to be doing something a little bit different. I mentioned Wisecrack in one of my other videos, and today I'm actually going to be doing that promise. I'm actually going to be talking about some Wisecrack videos. This is his latest one about philosophy, about season 4, and we're just going to get into it. And we're just going to completely debunk it for everything it's for. All right, so here we go. So I got the video right here. Hold on, here we go. All right, let's go. I might skip some stuff. That's a little bit irrelevant.
What's up, guys? Michael here to talk about why learning to control your emotions is probably using an army of titans to kill a lot of people.
Today, right now. So I can already tell where he's going. He's going to say that Aaron's an emotional person. He's taking out all his anger on the Titans, which is completely false. As we've seen time and time again, we see him say that he forgets about torturing Ryder to death. He says that he starts breaking down in tears and crying about killing Ramsey. So he's going actually past his emotion because his emotion tells him to stop the rumbling because it's very painful for him. And it's also painful that he has a good idea that he's going to die. That's also painful for him. So this whole emotion stuff, he's not making decisions off emotions or vengeance. He's making this as a calculated plan. And again, I used to answer a bunch of questions on Core about Attack on Titan, but then I just stopped. I'm like, I'm just going to wait till the anime comes out because, I mean, some of these questions get so outdated. This is a very outdated way of looking at things. If you read the manga, you know that he's not doing this based off emotions. It's based off a plan. Let's continue.
Taking a philosophical look at part 2 of season 4 of Attack on Titan.
Oh, God.
Now, I already covered the first part of season 4 on the philosophy of antinatalism, so
awful.
Be sure to check that out too.
It
but in this
sucks.
part of season 4, plans have changed, and we're now going from a subtle forced euthanasia plan to a very unsubtle genocide by Titans.
Let's actually
so are there any
stop that
philosophical
right there. There's nothing subtle about taking away people's right to have a family. That's a very special thing, and you took that away from most people without their consent. So it was not subtle at all. He was going to risk everyone's lives and then take away their ability to have children. So no, it was not subtle. These are pretty much the same thing. Only one is worse than the other. Euthanasia or sterilization is less. Is not as bad as killing, but it's still being forced upon the recipient unwillingly. Let's continue.
Revelations to be gleaned from all of this unhinged rage and violence. Well, per my Wisecrack colleague Lux, the key might be it through the perspective of Stoicism. Stoicism is a philosophical tradition that holds that if you want to live a virtuous life, you should follow logical principles rather than unbridled emotions and feelings.
Okay.
Sort of like how you always feel like you can eat 5 to 6 slices of pizza when logically it's more like 2 or 3 with a side of salad. That is if you're a quitter. So cover your napes and step away from the walls, because in this edition of A Philosopher Reacts, we're going to dig deep into Attack on Titan Season 4, Part 2 to ask, can Stoicism save us? And spoilers ahead. Okay, guys, before we get into it,
I'm just going to pause this.
Tell you that we've recently updated and upgraded our Patreon page. Videos talk about the history of philosophy. Up where part 1 left off, meaning things are not stop him from doing. Really going for it now. Some of our friends and enemies are working together in a last-ditch effort to stop him from doing.
FYI, I will be skipping around the video because I do want this to be monetized, and I gotta make sure this is within fair use. So if you see me skipping something random, it's because it's irrelevant every time. This falls under fair use.
And in so much as Aaron and the Jaegerists and of course are fueled by negative emotions, our gang of potential heroes has a chance.
Let's actually stop there. This guy's a complete idiot. Okay, so no, Marley is not fueled by emotion primarily. Yeah, sure, they hate the Eldins, but you have to understand that these people have what's called an empire, and to have a successful empire, you have to constantly subjugate people and their lands. So that is their main reason for this. They also, it is said that the Elden hatred was a unifying factor. It was good for world peace. So it's more political than anything. So I'm trying to say it's unbridled emotion. They were these people are not emotional people. They're people who plan stuff. And yes, again, you could say the same thing about, Hitler, as an example. Did he hate the Jews? Yeah, he's also very strategic at planning. Yeah, he had some blunders, of course, and some of those were due to emotion. But if you have but we know his empire failed. But if you have a successful empire, it is not predicated on emotion. It's predicated on just politics and reasoning.
Stop relying on feelings and instead try to do something positive by working towards some genuinely
good
principles.
Okay, now this is where the whole thing starts to break down, because he's mentioning, genuinely good principles. What he's not understanding is that genuine principles are not applicable to everybody, right? So a genuine principle for Hanji is the most surviving humans. Genuine principle for Eren is long lives for his friends. So you can't appeal to someone to a genuine principle someone does not hold.
And how do they do this? A little bit of old-fashioned stoicism. So what is stoicism?
Okay.
Usually if someone is described as stoic, it's like when you're talking about an old man with no feelings who drinks whiskey for breakfast and is inexplicably always chopping wood and putting it into neatly organized piles. And while that dude obviously rips, this is not quite what the original Stoics were talking about. In a general sense, they were descendants in the line of virtue ethics, a school of thought that began with Plato and really found its legs with Aristotle. If you're unfamiliar with the concept, Aristotle said that living a virtuous life was all about orienting your life towards happiness. Now, he used the term telos, which means aim, to describe the way in which virtue gives us an aim for our activity. When he says happiness, he's not referring to a general feeling of contentment or swimming in good vibes and great oldies. Instead, he's talking about eudaimonia, which is a type of happiness that has to do with human flourishing, i.e. living your absolute best life. The Stoics turned this idea of virtue into a full-on philosophy of life, and it wasn't really focused on heady concepts or metaphysical ponderings, but about actual human existence. Who would have thought? A philosophy that's just about living your actual life. Okay. Now, for the Stoics, the point of philosophy was basically being good at life. As Pierre Hadot describes it, for the Stoic then, doing philosophy meant practicing how to live. That is, how to live freely and consciously. Consciously, in that we pass beyond the limits of individuality to recognize ourselves as a part of the reason-animated cosmos.
Okay. Again, I'm just pausing so I can say under fair use.
Freely, and that we give up desiring that which does not depend on us and is beyond our control, so as to attach ourselves only.
This is the main part.
What depends on us.
This is the main part right here about Stoicism. Freely, that in that we give up desiring that which does not depend on us and is beyond our control. So it's basically it's not representative of the entire philosophy of Stoicism. It's basically just going with the flow. It's just swimming in the river. You're not concerning yourself with stuff that you can't affect. Right. Again, I know I was going to talk about Eren in this, but I just want to get this out of the way. This is something that is a massive flaw for these people, because they're acting like that Eren just going through the motions, or like he shouldn't try to change something he has no business changing. Some people say, I don't know if he said, I have watched this video before, but I don't know if he's going to say, I've heard some people say
actions which are just in conformity with reason. Okay, enough about long
reason. Right. Another thing, you hear people say common sense is becoming uncommon. Lots of people say that from lots of different backgrounds, lots of different beliefs. But basically, what that means is that what is reasonable, what is common sense, is not shared by everyone. So, whatever reason is your reason in your little comfortable life is not Eren's reason. There is obviously only one reason. I'm not a moral relativist, but that's how it goes.
Long dead Greek dudes. Let's check out what happens when emotions kind of tear Zeke and Eren apart.
There's a ton of characters and weapons you can collect. There's different constellations.
始祖にこう伝えるんだ。すべてのエルディア人を今後永久に子供を作れない体にしろと。じゃらしで連合軍を潰すのはその後。すべてのエルディア人を安楽死させる。エレン、 こんなふざけた計画、俺は到底受け入れられない。
Oh, on a
I didn't see this go.
俺はここに来るためにあんたに話を合わせていただけだ。
That sucks, you know. You find your long lost brother and think you have someone you can like love and. Now, obviously, this right here is not stoicism, but it's important to help us understand stoicism the same way that like watching blood on the asphalt in driver's ed helps you learn about not speeding up the lover's lane without your seatbelt on, and also why necking
Well, please tell me.
can and will get you pregnant. Now, what we just saw is basically the opposite of stoicism. As Zeke and Aaron, and of course like everyone else on the show, are being driven completely by passion, namely.
Okay, this is just getting ridiculous. No. Fool. He saw, again, this is because it's outdated. He saw what was going to happen. He knew what was going to happen. And he then worked towards that goal with something in mind. Again, you may argue, well, since he's motivated by love, he's not a stoic. I'm not saying he's not a stoic. I'm saying your logic is ridiculous. He's motivated by emotion. No, he's like, say for example, like, again, your kid is trapped under the train tracks or caught in train tracks, and you have to, you know, pull the lever and to have him fly off a bridge. You know, the classic, you know, scenario, right? If you strategically plan to be there, right, to pull the lever, and you do things that are emotionally harmful to you, or the things that you don't like, including killing the people, are you driven by emotion? I mean, yes, but also really no. I mean, we're gonna say Jesus is stoic, not a stoic, because he was driven by love. I mean, come on, man. Again, this is I have a deep disdain for philosophy, and I'm sure you guys can know why from this video.
Anger and hatred. And for the Stoics, being virtuous wasn't simply about orienting your life around goodness. It was also about control, in particular, controlling your passions and emotions. So if a committed Stoic...
He is controlling them. As before, it really hurt him to have to kill Ramsey, and it really hurt him that he couldn't be with Mikasa and everyone else. But instead of letting that get in his way and saying, oh, I'm calling off the entire plan, he still went forward because that's the best thing to do for his friends. He's not being emotional. He knows what he needs to do. He knows his responsibility to his friends, and he's executing on it. Oh, God, this freaking guy.
Was driving on the freeway after a horrible day at work and got cut off by someone with a baby on board sticker on their car, they wouldn't be overcome with the passion to flick them off with a burning hatred. Also, babies are bad drivers. This necessitates controlling passions and emotions so that one acts solely on virtuous principles. And while giving someone the double thirds while using your knees to drive the car is fun, it's not virtuous. What we see in both Zeke and Aaron's plans and their outcomes is what happens when one's thoughts and actions are dictated by emotion and not reason and deliberation.
Again, listen. It is driven by reason and deliberation. He thought about this for a long time. He thought, okay, I want Armin to live, right? I want Mikasa to live a long, happy life. Those are both very important to him. And he wanted Connie's mom to come back to him as well. And he also ran Annie with long. He also wanted Annie to enjoy their lives. He talked to them personally. So don't tell me that this is based off of. Again, I'm going to give him a little bit of slack because he is commenting on season 4. But this guy's been doing. This is like his third video. He did a video about the first season, I think. They did 2 videos about the second season. No, he did it with the third season. This is his second video on the 4th season. So I don't want to hear from this guy. He knows how volatile it's going to get, and he knows how quickly stuff comes outdated and how you need to watch the entire thing. I don't know why he's making a video about this when he knows it's not over. So I mean, I would give him slack, but at the same time, he doesn't deserve any slack because he's been with the show and he knows what it's about. And this is just outright disrespectful to do something like this without watching the entire show.
So let's check out a really interesting scene where we flagged one of the many scenarios that seem to be at the heart of Aaron's rage.
Okay, God. You see, again, most of you guys are probably confused why I'm so angry, but this guy, those of you do know, you guys can see why I hate this guy so much. This guy's ridiculous. So what happens is Aaron is begging, he's saying, please, honey, please find another way. Please. I don't want to have to do this. I don't have to kill all these people. Right? Please find a way to do this. Right? She says, hey, he's just being a teenager. That's fine. Then he goes to Liberio. And like, okay, maybe this will work. Have a conference, you know, and he's thinking, I thought I put this on silent mode. Sorry about that, guys. I see something doing that disturb. I don't know how that happened. Anyway, pardon me my interruption, but he's going to this conference and he's saying, this is going to work. We're going to have a conference. It's going to be good. The alien's going to be good. And I don't have to kill anybody, right? But he's constantly seeing this play on the future. Just like when he goes to make this, he says, "What am I to you?" He already saw it happen, but he's saying maybe there'll be a different outcome. He's begging and pleading for a different outcome. He does not want this outcome to be true. So he goes to this conference undercover because obviously he's not going to flex his power purely off of his power and not out of actual genuine altruism. So, what I was saying was that he would not go to that he would not go flexing all his power, because if flexing all his power and they accepted, he wouldn't know whether it was genuine or whether they were doing because they were scared of him, and then they'll turn on him later. So this is not driven by emotion. He's planned this out for years. For years he's planning this out, and he's been begging and pleading with people to try to find an alternate solution. No one gets an alternate solution. Then this crap has the final straw, and then this very day is going to go to Mika, and he's going to say, "What am I to you?" And she's going to say, "We're family," and then that's going to seal the deal, because he laughed when Sasha died, because he was like, "Damn, I saw Sasha die, but I could not prevent that." Then this happened. Then after that, then he saw Ramsey. Then he asked the question to me, because then he saw this crap. So he knew the future is going exactly how I saw, and it's going to happen, and there's nothing I can do about it. Okay, so listen to him. Because we already know what's happening.
Any political leader that does that move, they're never good. Now here we get a flashback sequence, gives us a little bit of insight into Aaron's initial decision to sow the seeds of his genocide plan.
No, again, oh God, this freaking guy. Wow, okay, no. Again, you should watch him. I think he does have a season. Let me check if he has a season 1 video real quick. Let me just check. The only reason why I'm doing this is because I don't want to defame this guy, so that's why I'm interrupting my video to check. Okay. Good job, Jan. Thanks for being considerate. Let me see. Yeah. He has like a season 1, season 2 video. Yeah. So he knows, and he knows how outdated his stuff is. So again, this is why this makes me so angry, because he did not. This is not when he. This was the last straw, and any person who was paying attention knew that was the last straw. Especially an anime watcher, for goodness sakes, they knew it was the last straw. Why are you out here acting like? I gotta turn this volume down. This is getting. Why are you out here acting like he just started this plan? He started this plan when he gives us his hand. What is wrong with you? And we know this because it gets brought up in 121 or Memories of the Future, something like that. That's what the episode is called. What is wrong? Again, you too, Matt Pat. Matthew Patrick of Film Theory. You guys, it's not even like you watch the show. Don't watch it. You cannot just skim. Again, who would ever skim through Dickens and then make a freaking 20-minute video about it? No one would dare do that, because they know, well, this is complex material, so I didn't read it to get my stuff straight. He thinks, oh, it's an anime, which again, he does have some credence too. But the reason why I'm calling him out is because he's been with the show since season 1, so you should know. So there's no excuse. He's been with the show since season 1, season 2, and he knows how good the show is. He knows how quality is, and he knows how quickly stuff gets outdated. And this guy's still out here making crap like this. Yeah, if I wasn't gonna get anime, didn't you? You were wrong.
And it shows us what happens when a move's over. Now, Aaron and the scouts are visiting Marley to try ice.
I'm sorry, I don't want to curse.
Cream for the first time and get blitzed at a migrant camp. And
hey, who's watching Attack on Titan and
forged a plan of peace with the Ymir Protection Group. However, during this meeting of the assembly, the leader of the protection group basically goes full Hitler when he calls for the
Hitler. I mean, I guess he.
And that is both fueled by emotion, namely hatred.
No. This fucking. Again, you're gonna hear that phrase a lot. This fucking guy, okay? Who the hell do you think you are? No, he's viewed by politics. It's just like whenever a politician makes a disingenuous speech or promise, he's not fueled by emotion. He's fueled by politics. This guy's fueled by politics. He doesn't want. I mean, maybe fear. counts, but again, who really makes? But fear is logical, right? So who makes a decision that is not emotion based? If I am saying if I'm saying I want to drive my car at the speed limit, that's a logical decision, but it's also fueled, you can say, by emotion. You don't even know his emotion. It never said. The text never said anything about his emotion. Why is
oriented around any type of virtue, things like courage, justice, or moderation, and is operating.
It might be around justice. I think I brought this up in one of my videos, but this is not gonna fit in perfectly. This is not gonna fit in perfectly, but the Germans are really, really, really big on the Holocaust and World War II. They are very, very respectful around their the war museums. You can't say Sig Heil around them. That's not funny at all. They're very, very strict on that. And on top of that, they actually convicted an 89-year-old Auschwitz guard who didn't kill anybody. He didn't kill anybody, but he was working at Auschwitz, and they convicted him. They caught up with him and convicted him because that's how serious they are. So that guilt still remains with them. And same thing with the Communist Soviet Union. You're not allowed to play the Soviet Union anthem. You could go to jail for 5 years for playing that song, the Soviet Union anthem. I bring this up to say that people still feel guilty about sins that they did not commit, and they go overboard, which is what we see Gabby and the rest of them do. And he might genuinely think that it's justice that the Eldians are punished like this. Again, it doesn't fit in perfectly, but it's still something to consider.
The assumption that one group of humans is fundamentally inferior to the other. In contrast, Stoics would recognize that nature has not given us that memo. This right here is why logic was crucial to this. And I'm not talking about the type of formal logic, that's philosophical equivalent of algebra, thank God, but a simple logical deliberation on whether or not a specific position or set of actions is virtue. Again, following in the Aristotelian tradition, the Stoics consider logical deliberation to be a crucial part of virtue. That's because unbridled emotions can easily sway one to extremes, while logical consideration helps us arrive at more moderate and thus more virtuous positions. And here we see the scouts come into the assembly hoping to arrive at a logical position, but all they observe is genocidal fervor. And it seems like this is a sort of final straw for Aaron.
So you do admit, see what I'm saying? That's why I hate this guy. So you do admit it's the final straw. You do admit that he didn't just come up with this plan in the moment. You do admit that this was the final straw. So you do know what you're talking about. But you're being a disingenuous little prick, and you're making stuff up to pad your ad revenue.
As his response to the Marlians' hatred is just a much, much, much gnarlier hatred aimed back at them.
No,
now,
it's not hatred. Again, you saw him crowd Ramsey. You think Hitler, again? You think Hitler, Stalin, or the British Empire was crying over the people they killed? Do you think they were? No, because they don't care. Which is why they're doing it. He was, though. He still did it anyway. You know why? Because he went past his emotions. Yeah, this is why I like Simp Aaron, because we see how he truly feels. We see how much sacrifices he's making. He didn't want to do this plan either. It would have been, and again, remember, he wanted Mika said to be caught up with another man for 10 years. That's what he wanted. But he put his emotions aside and did what was logically best for her and told her to throw away the scarf and be free. Okay, let's see this getting too long.
Another important aspect of Stoicism is that even when you're not doing xenophobia for lols, living a good life isn't just about seeking out things that are pleasurable for you. Things like wealth, health, comfort, and is this toilet paper or cake? And in the wake of Aaron's victory, Jean is put in a position to weigh his individual comfort versus virtuous principles. So let's check that out.
Again, we know what this is, so I'm just gonna skip this over. I want to finish this video quickly.
Pursuing health and wealth aren't bad things. It might even be virtuous. Assuming that.
Okay. Great. So what we learned so far is that this guy is an absolute disingenuous piece of crap. Oh god, this guy.
That you're not overtly hurting anyone in the process. But according to the Stoics, something can only truly be virtuous when it's also just, meaning that the ends we pursue don't make life shittier for others or happen at their expense. Now,
again, I just bring up World War II again. Very classic example. Maybe in the Civil War, right? Very, very vicious stuff happened to innocent people. on both sides, and this simplistic, oh, you can accomplish good without hurting others. It's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous on an international level. It's ridiculous. Okay, you either sacrifice or you kill. That's how it works. Okay, the martyrs, they chose a different path. They sacrificed themselves, but I mean, we're still here, right? As in, the martyrs didn't accomplish their goal, right? Or the missionaries, the good missionaries, not the imperialist ones, but the good missionaries, they sacrificed. Someone has to die. It's either you or it's them. Okay, and you dying takes a slow amount of time. Other people dying is very, very quick, right? And, ask any empire, it's pretty. Give it about 100 years, and everything's all good. You control everything, right? Sacrificing yourself is, again, very powerful. There's I forgot the atheist, a very prominent atheist. I forgot the guy's name, but he was saying how, the Christian tradition of carrying the soldier's pack an extra mile led to the downfall of the Roman Empire because they got converted to Christianity. Of course, that only works when there's a supernatural force, the Holy Spirit working, in which case there's no supernatural force working within the sectarian world, so that means that humans are left up to their own devices, you see. And so, obviously, the logical thing to do is to kill their people so that Lucas and Norman can live long, happy lives.
Jean could just hang out and enjoy the spoils of war, but in doing so, he's basically going to be sleeping in a bed built by genocide.
And again, the guy is currently, I think yes, this is an American company. This guy's an American company filming a YouTube video with this mic and this computer. Probably all made by slave labor, of American privilege. Again, I'm not a lefty, okay? I'm not really a lefty when I say this, but all of your American privilege comes from brutal imperialism and exploitation, as everyone does, as every person who lives in any first world country does, right? Sweden and Canada, you're not innocent either. You did some really dark stuff too, right? So don't talk to me about, you're not out there protesting about, people are allowed to take neutral positions on stuff, okay? If Jean wants to sit back and relax, he's in no way responsible for armed actions at all, okay? And it's not virtuous for him to do that. How much you walk by so much pain and suffering every single day, and you have the internet of all things, so you can find out who is suffering, where, and how you can help them, but you're not going to do that. Which is fine. That's totally fine. Just don't come and say, "Oh, you're in bed. You're laying in the bed. You're laying in the bed made of genocide." Most of us are.
God. Which tend to have really scratchy sheets that are soaked with tears of anguish and despair. Now we see.
I am using devices right now. 3 devices right now that are built upon people's tears of despair and anguish.
In the wake of Aaron's plan, that Flock and the Jaegerists got drunk with power pretty quickly. But those like Jean who are able to leave are operating more in line with stoicism, virtues like justice, courage, and moderation.
Okay, again, I was accused today of not being the Jaegers, but I'm actually going to stand up for King Fletch. And again, I do say King Fletch unironically. They are pursuing what they think is justice, because Aaron was right, and they are patriots, and they love their countrymen. So yeah, they're pursuing justice. God, this guy is killing me. He's killing me. You're so comfortable in your little world. Go F yourself, bro.
Above pursuing power and wealth. Okay, speaking of being virtuous, what would the Stoics think about you feeding someone to your mom? I don't know. Let's find out, because someone does that.
Hey! This guy mentioned how horrible what Kanye was about to do was. Which then explains why he's so nice to Annie. Another thing, and I cannot take credit for this, but someone mentioned that another reason why he's laughing is because she reminds him of Sasha. That's another cool thing. But yeah, let's this guy. You guys know what this is.
Yeah. Now, who among us wouldn't be tempted to feed a human child or mother if it would bring her back to life?
That's a genuine question, because all of us would be.
Even if we can kind of relate to what Connie's doing here,
no, we can't. Yeah, God, this guy. This people like this make me wonder. Like, is there really such a thing as poverty? Because obviously, this man has never suffered a day in his life. Obviously, everything has been provided to him the exact way he wants, however he wants it.
Clear that again, he's in this situation because he's unable to deal with the pain
The child soldier, for goodness sakes.
of losing his mother.
And listen to the military. I'm like, yeah, I think they start training at 10.
And this pain has led to a plan that's not
He
super
graduated when he was 15.
logical and is definitely not moral. But just when it seems like he's about to drop human food into his mom's Titan mouth hole, he's motivated to do something good when he saves Armin from doing suicide via Titan snap Connie out of his plan to sacrifice Falco and helps him realize the virtue of doing what's right, even if it doesn't directly benefit one's passions. Okay, in the next episode...
Yeah, because he was thinking, hey, this will not be the best for my mom. Just like Aaron was thinking it will not be the best for Mikasa.
Hanji has a similar moment of seemingly stoic clarity.
Again, I was accused today of not being a Jaegerist, but I hate this scene as much as any true Jaegerist would. This scene is... let's just say I was not that broken up when Hanji died. I was actually pretty happy. Yeah, genocide is wrong. She says that. Literally, because we've been asking her over and over again. I always say to her, whenever people say something dumb like this, I always say, well, what did you want him to do? What did you want him to do? And she has no answer, which is why she sends her to genocide is wrong. Okay, cool. Good to know. And then John says, yeah, but Aaron's right, though. He's right. She's like, yeah. Then at the end, it's like, yeah, Aaron's right. Yeah, Aaron's right. Yeah, I mean, I'll be damned before we justify it somehow. I mean, listen, there's lots of ways you can justify it. And your intelligence is supposed to be at 11 out of 11, but... maybe I really thought. But also remember how let's get meta for a second. Also remember how the author is coming under fire for far right extremism and glorifying violence. So I think it was appropriate for him to put a character like this.
Your voice when you're saying the genocide is wrong. That's a good life rule. Be loud. Okay, so here we see Hanji coming to a sort of crossroads between passion and logic as she realizes that genocide of any sort is categorically wrong.
Yeah.
Plus, much of the ideology perpetuates.
I don't know how he's going to say this straight face. In my opinion, letting your family suffer and die is always wrong. Okay, so now what, right? Again, I've always said this, right? When very people say, they say, okay, well, you got 2 billion people. There's 8 billion people in the world. If you didn't decide 2 billion people in some contrived scenario, you will save the rest of the 6 billion. But if you don't genocide 2 billion, is genocide now wrong or is genocide fine, right? This notion that there's only one thing that is always wrong because every other thing can be justified for that thing. Okay, so for example, if giving someone an eye jamming was the most wrong thing, then any means to avoid an eye jamming being given is a good thing and accomplish our good purpose. Okay, so let's say you smash someone's laptop, again, to prevent someone from getting an eye jamming. You just did a good thing, right? Because the laptop and the eye jamming can happen simultaneously, right? They're not exclusive from each other. So if to choose between a laptop and an eye jamming, it'd be the eye jamming, or maybe people call it necessary evil.
By Marley is equally driven by emotions like hatred.
It's not.
And fear.
This bullshit where people were, oh crap, did I skip that video? This bullshit where people are walking around saying that it's driven by hatred has just got to stop. It's just got to stop. Because it's not. He said it over and over again. Just like me, Ryan, I forget I said that over and over and over again. He's not motivated by hatred in any way whatsoever. This has nothing to do with him hating the Mormons, and it's everything to do with him simply wanting to spend some level on happy lives. Again, you do not have to watch, you don't have to read the manga to know this, because he says it, and he's very weepful, and he's very sad about it. He's not raging with Mormons. And again, if you're gonna say, well, Beluga, he was saying he'll wipe out every last one of them that are on this earth in the last episode. I got you. No, you didn't catch me. You can never catch me because I research this stuff and I have so much time. And I only watch this. I primarily watch this show, so I'm the person who's able to think about it the most of all you people. So no, you can never catch me. But so it's very simple. And it's not like an argument that I have against you. It's what I felt when I first read the damn thing, which is it's come full circle. He said about Titans over and over and over again, all thinking that Titans were his enemy, when in reality humans were the enemy. Humans were the monsters. Humans were the animals. Humans are the ones who deserve his contempt. And so when he says that he's killing all the humans, every last one of those monsters that are on this earth, because humans are the true monsters, not Titans. But people are too much of dum-dums to get that. I'm sorry for insulting you. I'm sorry for hurting your feelings, but this is just getting... Yeah, I don't know, man. We gotta continue this video.
Beats Reiner to death, and it seems an likely deadly journey to do what is right. And here, Jean isn't just choosing to go against or about Jean presumably being anti-Aaron's genocide, which is good. Let's watch. Full stoic just yet. That's because in the scene right
No.
Okay.
for the sake of a greater good. Okay, let's skip ahead just a little bit in the same episode.
Feels like those get hard for me. If you're watching me again.
大半は
Okay.
壁の外に人類がいるなんて知らずに死んでいった。だけどこの島だけに自
Yeah,
由
I'm
を
sure
もた
none of this piece of self-effort.
らせばそれそんなケチなこと言う仲間はいないだろう。虐殺を止めることができるのは
That's because Aaron wasn't married. That's why. He was not married. And he was not married because he prioritized fighting for humanity and fighting for the basement. He considered that more important and the most important thing. So it'd be wrong for him to get married because a woman deserves your highest priority in life. So it'd be wrong for him, and he was wise not to marry. Niall married because he had better priorities. He has kids too. Hanji's unmarried. Everyone's unmarried. And they were unmarried because they were all gallivanting doing whatever. Great, they're doing great things. Not as great as starting a family, though.
This is some real spit right
今しかない。
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he can stop. Yeah, he can stop Slayer.
Come on, join the team. Join the team, John.
ハンジさん、俺はまだ調査兵団です。
Yeah. Okay, so after Hanji has her own
I'm not going to talk about whether or not the scouts will be pro or anti-Rumbling. I'm just going to continue.
come to Stoic Jesus moment, she's working to convince John to follow suit. And after just being tempted by Flock with cushy life in the new Jaegerist Empire, choosing virtue for Jean means sacrificing a probably pleasurable existence for the sake of a difficult and likely deadly journey to do what is right. And here, Jean isn't just choosing to go against his former Jaegerist comrades. He's also choosing to work with a new group to actively fight against Eren. And in the process, he's choosing principles over comfort. Okay, so there's a scene that...
Which is, again, I am a Jaegerist, and I do respect the hell out of Floch. But I also am not I'm not a child, so I also respect Hanji and Levi. I mean, Hanji and Jean. Oh, you're surprised. I know you're surprised because mostly children watch anime apparently. But yeah, I mean, I respect both of them because Jean is doing he believes he's the right thing to do and he's putting himself through suffering to do it. So is Eren. So is Flock. Okay, so you have to respect that. You have to respect that. He's dreadfully wrong and he's borderline a traitor, but.
Happens. Maybe someone will pop it in here where after John decided to be a good guy, he almost beats Reiner to death.
This is similar to Eren, Simp Eren, because he was trying so hard to just keep his emotions inside. But you know, the dude was about to die, and he was never going to see anybody ever again. So yeah, emotions tend to come out in that situation. This is a little bit less desperate, but still, he tried hard to keep it in. And Reiner kept pushing it because Reiner wanted to be punished, right? Remember the whole hanging man thing. He wanted somebody to judge him. So, but you don't understand because you don't understand this literature at all.
It's like maybe he's not going to go with our gang, but look what happens the next morning.
Remember Annie kicked him in the teeth. Sorry, I just feel like I had to mention that. Like she kicked him in the teeth instead of saying "F you." But.
の時間だ。
協力してくれるの
No、もちろんだ。
So casual.
ほら、いつまで寝てんだライナー。怪我なんてとっくに治ってんだろうが。
If any of you ever beat me almost to death, the next morning. Don't like bully me. It's just a lot. But we talked before about John presumably being anti-Aaron's genocide, which is good and way more virtuous than supporting genocide. But
I mean, I guess you could say that. But again, I'm not disagreeing with anything. I'm just bringing up the statement that Aaron made a sacrifice. Okay, so a sacrifice is virtuous. Yeah, yes, no, I think it's virtuous, and especially for someone that you love romantically, I think it's more virtuous. To do that for someone. The best person to sacrifice for is your spouse. So, especially as a man. So
it doesn't mean he's gone stoic just yet. That's because in the scene right before this, rage motivates him into trying to beat Reiner to death. Yeah. So, stoicism, bit of a learning curve, but at least he's on the right path. But also don't beat people up. It's not good. Okay, before we wrap up, I want to look at one more clip. This is from the penultimate episode of the season. When things are not really going well for our friends.
Why is there more of this video left over? He says we'll show one more clip. This. Oh, I am going to bring any video soon. And this seems very important. But I'm sure it's because I'm going to get it. Katsuya is what the amazing Lucas would call ignorant. Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
She said she's going to get off the ship. It's like, where are you going to go?
Same place Erwin would go when he finds the basement. Mm-hmm. You don't understand this literature at all.
Saving the people whose names he never know.
This is so cute. I actually really like this. They were beefing for the longest time. That's a different story, though.
That's tense. So earlier in the season, we saw that up until this point, Annie had largely been motivated by a hatred towards her adoptive father, which evolved into a love for him and a desire to rescue him from the rumbling. Now here, after realizing her motivating aim of saving her father is no longer possible, she seems like she kind of wants to give up, but she recommits to the cause because it's the right thing to do, even though it's very hard. And there's an underlying melancholy here. That's clear the odds are very, very, very much against our gang right here. But this right here brings up another aspect of Stoicism, which is the point of pursuing virtue isn't to simply bring about a desirable result. The point is to act in accordance with universal nature, i.e. a sense of natural justice.
Universal nature. This is what I'm talking about, natural law, which has been evolving. I mean, look at how Rome is killed, right? Look at how awful that would be. If any world leader tried to implement that, you would all collectively lynch them because it'd be so draconian, so terrible, and so prejudiced, right? This natural law garbage needs to be thrown away immediately. Again, I'm telling you, I mean, yeah, I'm a moral absolutist, but here's the thing: when you do not have a supernatural or spiritual aspect in this show, people have to act based on what they can see in the immediate meaning like 30, 40, 50 years. And they have to act according to logic, right? And they do not have the benefit of having the Holy Spirit come back them up. We do. They don't. Okay? So, yeah, while we can debate whether things are good or bad, you have to understand that Aaron is acting completely logical and he's doing this for someone he loves. Okay? And he's sacrificing himself.
Which will make you happy, even if you don't actually get the thing you were aiming.
That's the thing. When you have a layered character, you have weird things like a character being happy but also unhappy at the same time. So he's happy that Mikasa is happy, but he's also sad he can't be with Mikasa. He's also sad that his own personal life is ending and he can't pursue freedom anymore. But he's also happy that Mikasa is able to live a happy life.
In this case,
is that too much for you to do and explain it again?
Clear that even if our mini resistance is destined to fail, they will still experience a type of happiness in continuing to do right. Mm-hmm. It's not dissimilar from Immanuel Kant's moral philosophy.
This is why at the end of the song it says, "I believe strongly. I believe that believing in yourself strongly is the right thing to do." That's why he says it at the end of the song.
Right intention matters as much, if not more, than the right result. As the season ends with Aaron's founding Titan and his Titan army stomping out human civilization, it at least seems like the best our gang of roosters can hope for is doing with virtuous, even if it doesn't work out. And this relates to another part of Stoicism, namely that it's not only about learning how to live, it's about learning how to die as well. Seneca here plagiarized.
Oh, he's talking about Aaron right now, yet he doesn't know it. Let's replay that.
Namely that it's not only about learning how to live, it's about learning how to die as well. Seneca, here plagiarized by Montaigne, said, he who has learned to die has unlearned how to serve. And as Epictetus said, keep dies every day, and then you will never have any abject thought nor any acceptance.
Yeah, and that's what Aaron did for 4 years. He kissed her his hand, saw the high possibility of him dying, and then was surrounded by death on all sides. Yeah, so that's what he didn't cause. That's that he didn't cause. That's that he inadvertently caused. And that's that he did cause.
Excessive desire. All of this, according to Hadot, is that we should remain present, as if every moment is paradoxically our first and our last. So does part 2 of season 4 of Attack on Titan give us a masterclass in how to become stoics? Not really. But much of the season shows us what can happen when hatred, anger, and fear take priority over logical deliberation and the pursuit of virtue. This
know what? Yeah, that's what it shows us.
helps us understand what the stoic.
We have like one dark bad guy who's motivated by hatred, possibly, and not even. The Alliance are motivated by hatred, and the Errands are motivated by hatred. They're both motivated by love of people and love of family. So you can again. I already swore in this video, so you can fuck right the hell off with that shit.
Saw as an undesirable and unvirtuous way to live. And towards the end of the season, we start to see how moving beyond negative passion emotions to approach things from a more logical perspective leads.
Which Aaron did. I mean, this is one thing. This guy makes a 21-minute video. I have to repeat myself so many times with this guy.
A group of characters to overcome their hatred for the sake of the common good. And
yeah, everyone. Aaron overcame his hatred when we reached the basement. That's why he starts feeling bad for Titans. You guys know Aaron felt bad for Titans? That's overcoming your hatred. That's the epitome of overcoming your hatred. That's a large part of Aaron's character development that people miss. He feels bad for Titans because he gets perspective and he knows what's happening, and he feels bad for his enemy. Okay,
this gets at the coolest thing about
this is why Armin doesn't waste time talking to him like all he guys want him to. This is why Armin just says thank you for what you're doing for us, because he knows what Aaron's thought process is. He knows he's not going to change his mind, and he knows that Aaron's doing this all for them.
It's really
he didn't whip out this 20-minute video and explain how the stoicism, how it's important to not be motivated by hate or revenge.
A philosophy of life. The Stoics weren't primarily focused on heady like making metaphysical arguments about the nature of being or logically deliberating on the nature of truth. They philosophically
because they have to define what good is in order to pursue it
for the sake of living a good life, something that puts them in touch with the spirit of Socrates. It also makes them predecessors of the 19th and 20th century existential philosophers. Philosophy is primarily about how we live life, make sense of our existence, and not merely about how we understand things in a detached sense. And if you're interested in learning
philosophy
more about this tradition, I can't recommend Pierre Hadot's Philosophy as a Way of Life highly enough. So access your library card, Titan, and check it out. But what do you guys think? Can Attack on Titan teach us about the virtues of the Stoics? Or are we just...
No. He teaches about a lot of things. Lots and lots of things. None of which you can get at because you're what Lucas will call you an ignorant. You're an ignorant.
Watching Genocidal Maniacs have a field day. Let us know what you think in the comments, and definitely let me know.
Not have a field day. You know why? Because the Genocidal Maniacs and Marley are completely subservient to Aaron's will, and Aaron's not Genocidal Maniac. I mean, maybe he is. I mean, this could call him a Genocidal Maniac, but he's really just a guy who's making sure his friends live a good life. He's a friend. At the end of the day, he's a friend. All right. So what do we get out of this video? What do we get out of this video? What we got was people need to stop talking about something that they do not know about. Okay, that's what we learned. We learned the dangers of walking into something without having proper context. So, hope you enjoyed that video. I hope that maybe you did enjoy it. But anyway, thank you for sticking around. And if you have something that you want to discuss, you can drop in the comment section. If you disagree with me about something, you are more than welcome to come onto the show. Do not worry, I won't be as rude to you as it was to this guy. It'll be more polite and cordial. Okay. So and again, it says everybody. People hate me a lot on Reddit. People hate me in the comments. I would say you're always welcome to come on. You're always welcome. I will try to set something up. You can talk on Thursday or Friday, and we can discuss what you disagree with. Anyway. That's all for now, and thank you. Have a good day.